Hello and welcome to Central Georgia Focus, the Ask Mayor Miller edition. Each month we sit down with Macon-Bibb County Mayor Lester Miller and ask your questions. Thank you again for joining us, Mr. Mayor, on this January edition. Now, I've recently seen some social media episodes of something akin to Mayor Miller Asks, because I've seen you ask questions on Facebook about legislative priorities, nonpartisan elections, and whether you should resign to run for higher office. So what are your thoughts, and do you see any possibility of the lawmakers changing the charter to allow that third mayoral term as the county commissioners have?
Well, if you've seen those kind of comments, that means you must follow me on Facebook. So, really, I always like to engage the public, and we get a lot of questions based on why do I get to vote for this position, not this position? And it is kind of weird in Macon-Bibb County that you can't vote for the sheriff or the DA, but you can vote for your, Republican governor. And a lot of times people feel like they're not getting their vote. So really, I think local elections should be nonpartisan. I've always, argued that point. But I also wanted to hear, because I'm on the Legislative Policy Committee for Georgia Municipal Associations, and we go to the Capitol a lot. I want to hear what's on everybody's mind. It's an election season. It's not likely we'll get a bunch of promises, but not likely a lot of things are going to get done, because they want to get out there early so they can raise money. So I think I really just kind of intrigued about the process. There's no, I think there's no secret that one day I may run for a higher office, and certainly I want to be mayor as long as I can be mayor. That is not the top priority, by the way. My top priority is the senior exemption that I have up there, and I hope the legislative delegation will take that up first and foremost. There's a third term possibility out there. It's not the bill that I've seen to Senator Lucas, although I have talked to Senator Lucas, and I do think he supports the work. The bill come out of commission that passed by the majority basically calls for equal terms with mayor and commissioner. 3 terms for mayor, 3 terms for commissioners. Nowhere in that bill did it claim to do any kind of unlimited term limits. The unlimited term limits were possibly added on by Senator Lucas, but that was not what the local government suggested.
Unlimited term limits for mayor or for mayor and commission?
For commissioners.
For commissioners,
right. So
that the mayor would have 3 terms and commissioners could stay as long as they keep getting elected?
I assume, but like I said, the commissioners passed equal terms, which is basically changing the charter by the way of one word, one letter, one number, to 3 equal terms with the mayor and commissioners. That's all that was asked for. But then again, I want the senior exemption. That's my priority for the local delegation. Certainly, I don't necessarily want to leave in the middle of my term, but at some point in time when that door closes, I have to make some real decisions, and I just want to know what people thought about that.
So you mean door closes as of if there's no opportunity this session and you can only run for governor in this year or 4 years later? Is that kind of what you're up against?
There's lots of options. It's not just governor. But if the door closes on a third term, quite honestly, that means my term as mayor is going to be over. And if I want to continue to serve the people of Macon-Bibb County, I'm going to have to do so in another capacity. So I'm not sure what that capacity may be, but certainly all options are on the table. And all I want to do is do what's best for the community and, of course, best for my family.
Well, Dave Hackney doesn't have a question, but he sent this comment. I'm just going to read it. It says, Governor Miller, ! Run, Lester, run, you demand. And then he followed that up with Psalm 91:4, quoting, He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. So does that help your decision-making process at all?
Well, I think governor this time is I'm probably about $10 million behind that game. Yeah. And certainly I think there's some other positions out there. We'll just take it one day at a time. And again, my main priority is mayor of Macon-Bibb County, and I want to see the seniors get the exemption they deserve.
Okay. Well, in light of the national turmoil about immigration and customs enforcement and border patrol incidents, a journalism student, Delilah Marquez, asked, how is Bibb County reacting to the federal approach, and are you providing security or responding to the fears in certain communities?
Well, I think that's a question more directed to the sheriff of our community. We have a loving community. We've had many marches. We've went through the whole social justice challenges we had since 2020-21. Macon-Bibb County always comes together, always rallies. There's a march coming up. March, I believe, is anti-ICE, and I'm sure it's going to be a very peaceful protest by people who are very compassionate about that. Likewise, there's some people on the other side of that, but we're a community that comes together. We respect each other's wishes to peacefully demonstrate. I don't expect any issues. Certainly we want to make sure we take care of all of our citizens in Macon-Bibb County. We have some of those citizens that may be immigrants here working on a work visa or student visa, and of course we want them to be protected as well. I'm going to do everything I can as mayor to make sure that all of our citizens are protected. At the same time, we're going to follow whatever laws in place and whatever demands that are placed upon us by the federal and state governments. But as far as the protection part, that's going to be the sheriff's job. We trust their office to do the job that they were elected to do, and we'll step in as necessary.
And in that light, I've heard some concerns from some people who say they've been trying to do rallies in certain parks, but they're having trouble getting insurance in light of this political climate. What is the policy? Do you have to have some sort of liability insurance if you're going to use one of the county parks? How does that work?
Most certainly, there's a process that they need to follow. I think one problem they have is they keep calling it a rally. Political rallies are very uninsurable these days for a large amount of people. People still get insurance all the time. We can't have you coming on our property, renting out our facilities, and those not being covered from a local government standpoint. If they're charging you a lot of money or you can't afford it, it's because they've had some issues on the national level for bad things happen at these rallies. So I'd say take the politics out of it, take the rally out of it, just do a pop-up protest. You don't have to draw a lot of attention to yourself and talk on microphones and really do all those types of things. But we do have a process in place. Unfortunately, it requires you to have insurance, and we don't like waiving those things because it's a lot of liability for the county. Ultimately, the citizens and taxpayers in Macon-Bibb County will foot the price if something were to happen there. So I think they can go through the necessary steps. If not, we'll have to look at that policy later on. But right now, I think the problem is calling it a rally and being political about it.
Do you know about how much that costs? Is it cost prohibitive for certain organizations?
People pay what they want to pay for. It could, a dollar could be cost prohibitive for some people. Certainly, I'm not out there buying insurance, but we've had other events at these places where people buy insurance all the time. I think the political part about it and the rally part about it is really what's causing a couple of groups. They're trying to do the right thing. They're trying to follow the steps necessarily. But people find money for other things. Certainly, if it's worthwhile doing, then they can perhaps find the money for that.
Now, for people who didn't have a chance to see the news event about the latest round of funding for the Macon Violent Prevention Program, can you give us a little update about where that's going and how the community stands when it comes to statistics?
Well, I think people never want to hear about the good statistics. It seems like they all want to hear about bad things. They think we're covering things up all the time. Quite honestly, I've said it here before plenty of times, every life matters. Every life matters, and we don't want any homicides. We don't want any crime. Realistically, that's probably not going to happen. We can keep doing what we can do every day to make sure that happens. We're still down since 2022, over about 60% in our homicides. Our violent crimes are down. Our crime level is down. Certainly, we started out the year a way we didn't want to with several homicides. But honestly, you go 30, 40 days and you're back to a trend where you're going to beat the previous years and be in a better situation there. So I think our numbers are good. Our teens, we had a couple of pop up with teens, and it gets people excited and very emotional. But these Macon Violence Prevention is a great program. It works. It's very consistent, and we got to keep on doing what we know it works. Keep on funding these things, and that's what we've been doing. We awarded, I think, 16 new grants or renewed grants to people that are doing it right. We think we're going to see some great results as we continue to do, and things are going to continue to go in the direction that we see them, and that's being decreased. As we have pop-ups like this, we have to address those pop-ups, and that's what we do. But we got to maintain consistency and intentionality.
What is the latest on the jail expansion project?
We're waiting on the final numbers from Warner Associates, who was granted the award. We gave some initial monies to do further development there to find out what the exact price is. As soon as that, and we've asked to expedite that, we expect that probably in March, that we can start the construction there. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the Higgins building so we can have the parking move over there. And then we expect the whole thing to be completed in 12 to 14 months. So we're moving along very quickly with that. It's going to be a great facility. It's going to take care of a lot of those issues. It's going to show us that it's going to be that bridge until we get a new facility one day. But we have to do this. We do expect it to be around $24–25 million, and we already arranged for the funding for that. As
opposed to about a ballpark for how much for a brand new law enforcement center, all the bells and whistles, about how much would that have cost?
$400 million, which would increase the taxpayers' taxes by almost 100% if you just designate it to that. And it doesn't create any money. It's not like an arena that actually has money that comes in and people that come to pay for it. It's a very expensive process. And that $400 million, the debt service alone on that's about $20-something million per year that we don't have unless taxpayers just want to fork up the money. I think we can meet all the needs to keep things humane over there, safe over there for our officers and our inmates with this new addition and the mental health issues it's going to take care of. So I'm satisfied that's going to take care of the initial problems that we've had over there, and we'll be good to go for another 10 years while we work on getting the next facility built.
You expect the arena to be generating revenue, but when will we know how much that will cost?
We'll probably know that in this quarter. We always said that we'll get some preliminary pricing will start coming in the first quarter of this year, and then we'll have more specific pricing somewhere around March, April, and then we'll do the initial groundbreaking in this summer. So that's when we're scheduled to do.
Are there any things that are top on your list for that project, like we have to have this, we have to have that, or, you know, they talk about value engineering, that if you can't get everything you want, you might have a little bit less in some categories. Are any deal breakers for you?
Well, I think it just has to meet the needs. There's a bunch of non-negotiables, but I mean, we're not going to needlessly spend money where we don't have to. And right now we're doing some value engineering, but we don't know the price we're starting from because, you know, it's very, look at the tariffs that we have, look at the environment that we have for building. We want to, before we start just announcing numbers and how we're going to come up with the money for this, we want to make sure we have some realistic numbers to do. Certainly, we're going to make sure we have plenty of parking there. We want to make sure we can still service the Georgia High School associations and all those. We want to have a space added onto it that can host, you know, 4 or 5 different basketball events at one time. Things we can bring more youth centered there. And also we need to give a proper place for the have graduations for the school system because we tear the Coliseum down, there's not going to be a place for them to graduate and they run out of space. So we have to consider everyone's needs and it's just a process. But I'm very excited about the direction we're going into. I do think we're going to have some solid numbers probably in the next couple months. And then we're going to get the financing done and it's going to be it's a done deal now. But we're going to break ground and we'll be through by May of 2028.
Any movement on what's happening with the Marriott? You know, the UDA is an option to purchase. Anything going on there?
I think you see the Marriott's probably going to change hands, change ownerships. Who runs that facility in the end is going to be something that's not determined yet. More than likely it will remain a Marriott. We thought it could change names, but there's some reasons why it needs to maintain to be a Marriott, and there's some contractual obligations. So we'll work through those with UDA, but I do think we're looking for the right person to run that. We still want to exercise all the control we can over the convention center there. And it's still possible that we could have to demo the Coliseum and the Convention Center at some point in time. So it's necessary to maintain control of that property.
Now, many of our Ask Mayor Miller episodes seem to circle back to questions concerning Macon Mall and the opportunities for economic development. Timothy Brown asked for an update on the mall. He says we're promised businesses and shopping coming back, but we're only seeing offices. Last month you mentioned expecting some movement on the Penny side by the amphitheater. So anything you can tell us about that?
Well, what I'll say is what I continue to say is the Macon Mall is not going to be the retail mecca that we remember back in the 80s. Just go ahead and get that out of your mind. It's not going to happen. We have to reimagine what it really could be. And people are looking at Macon-Bibb County all across the southeast United States on how we're doing this at a mall. Entertainment, governmental offices. I think that we have 11 new businesses that open up or maintain right around the mall area that people just act like they don't exist, right? The Gerber Collision, the Planet Fitness, the Gordon's Grocery there, the No Name Chicken place there, the Bulldogs Restaurant there, Hibbett Sports has come out there, Presidential Parkway, along with 2 other restaurants there. You've got the College and Career Academy expanding there in the Butler Collision place. We can't lose focus of those types of things because they hire real people, pay real money, and pay real taxes. It's a process. I do think that this person is going to be very excited, perhaps as early as 2 or 3 weeks from now. The next time we have a great meeting in February, I think we'll have some huge news about the Macon Mall, something involving JCPenney's perhaps, and maybe some future monies and projects there. I'm very excited about the future there. It takes time, right? The building sat there for 10 years, nobody did anything. All of a sudden we're doing something and people want us to do more. You know, for the first time in a decade, we've had 150,000 people come to the area over there. For the first time in a decade, we've had an increased tax digest. That area grew, even though it was like 0.5% more than any other area in Macon-Bibb County with the mall there. So we're excited about, maintaining what we got over there, improving it, but it's never going to be the heyday, right? You got to look at some other options there. Look at it as an educational and entertainment corridor. I think that's what you're going to see from Middle Georgia State College, Middle Georgia State University, all the way to Mercer University. That's going to be educational and entertainment. You'll have some retail and restaurants pop up as well. But no concerns at all in that area for me.
Well, Bernice Minter must be a viewer of Ask Mayor Miller because she supports the idea of a casino. She said she believes it'll bring new jobs and revenue advantages. So is anyone bringing up that kind of gambling in the legislature this year?
Well, what I would tell her is stay tuned for February. Some things may change that she may be excited about. Certainly, I think people, casinos going to come to Georgia sooner or later, right? They're going to other states. People are already betting, whether it's COAM or whether it's all these college kids. I say college kids literally. I mean, people 20 to 30 years old are betting and sports betting right now in Macon-Bibb County. Lots and lots of money. People are getting on charters in Macon-Bibb County and flying to other places. People are getting on buses in Macon-Bibb County, taking our money to other communities to do that, right? So I think you're going to probably see that to come. It brings big money. Also, there's some issues that come with it that can be addressed with the taxes that you get off there. So I'll say stay tuned. Give me about 3 weeks. Perhaps there'll be an announcement soon, and we'll see what the legislature does. I'm on the GMA, like I told you before, Legislative Policy Committee. I'm very in tune to what's going on there. The next governor's race, too, happens to have several governor candidates that are in favor of that. So we'll see what happens. But I think chances are pretty good in the next couple of years you're going to have some of that going on in Georgia, like it or not.
Jerry Moore suggests that the mall could be used to house drug rehab and have sections for the homeless, especially in the winter. What do you think about that idea?
Absolutely not. The mall is growing. It's going to be a thriving economic machine for Macon-Bibb County. It's not to house folks that are experiencing homelessness. We have other places for that. And certainly we don't want the negative connotation there to having drug and rehab happening there at the mall when we're trying to revitalize it. The Rhythm and Rally is getting a new restaurant and lounge inside the mall, which is going to be fabulous this year. It continues to grow. We've got another governmental office that's going to be located down there near Regional Commission. You'll see some things happening at Penny's, as I said, at least 3 times now. Hopefully in the next month you'll hear some stories about that. Amphitheater continues to grow. We continue to have somebody who wants to put a hotel on site. Other things are happening. It takes time. Look at the Costco that's been announced here recently. It didn't happen overnight. It's been in work for 3 or 4 years. So things take a little bit of time to get better, and we've seen some great improvements there, and nothing says it's not going to continue.
Last commission meeting, you were explaining to Commissioner Stewart about how the mall became into Bibb County's hands with the deal with the whole property group. You said that after 8 years that Bibb County will get the whole property. So is that we're talking about 2029, and then what happens?
It's actually 7 years. So at the end of next year, we'll get the other part of the property, which means we can do what we want to with it. We can sell part of it. We can tear it down. They kept a couple of pieces on there. The out parcels they get to keep. I imagine we may renegotiate a deal there, but right now we get any of the parts of the mall that we're not using for $1, so it doesn't really matter. But we'll have all the responsibility on the good and bad part to maintain as well as to create income. So yeah, it's a great deal for Macon-Bibb County. It's going to be a greater deal after we make some new announcements there. So we're excited about that. We're going to continue to grow. Most people don't realize that when we did this, we did a phased approach. We had a phase 1, and we also had a phase 2 and 3 that we did some preliminary work on about how it can be more of a battery park there or a tourist park to have more interaction between the mall itself and the amphitheater part of the entertainment. So I think you'll see that in the near horizon.
I've also heard complaints about homeless encampments behind Sam's and hanging laundry out on the fence. And do you think that is affecting business in that Eisenhower corridor? Not
at all. I think that you have your challenges there like you have everywhere. You're not going to, it's something you have to deal with. Those are people with real problems, and we're figuring out the best way to do best practices to do that. We have a large group over there of business owners that have been collaborating with Macon-Bibb County through our code enforcement, our EMA, our homeless coalition, Brookdale, working together. We get an encampment pop up periodically throughout the community. We send resources there. At the end of the day, we can't let them claim spaces. We have to make sure that we maintain their health and safety and well-being, and we do that. So we mark all of them. Show Me the Way app has all those encampments people marked. And right now we're going through the count, the homeless count, the pit count. And Jake Holland has been working with his team. It's like a 7-day to still keep up with everything we need to keep up for that.
Timothy Brown and R. Demetrius were also asking about Presidential Parkway. You mentioned a couple of the businesses. Anything moving on that old platform that used to be Target, or any of the other places that are vacant over there?
Yeah, it seems to be everybody's stepbrother they want to just pick on. But I mean, people don't realize the millions of dollars that those places come in. There's 2 new places there now. The Wingstop moved over there next to McAllister's. They're doing well there. You got Hibbett Sports that come there next to the Kroger. There's another restaurant there. What they don't realize is that Target's in litigation, by the way. There's some foundational issues. Target didn't shut down just because of crime. That's just a lie. I mean, I don't know what better way to say it. It's just a lie. You don't close down a multi-million-dollar business for some shoplifters when you've got Walmart right across the street that has the same challenge that continues to operate and expand.
And the back of that property just kind of dropped off because I remember someone passed away back there.
There were some foundational issues with that property. That's why
they tore it down. That's why it's not still there.
Right, and a lot of people don't realize the restrictions are on that property. You can't do certain things on that property. It has to be retail. And many of those people who left, like Old Navy and all those businesses, are still under contract and still paying rent every single day. So they may have needed North Macon or wherever they moved to, they're still paying rent every day. So the owner has no incentive to put a new business there. You're still collecting rent. People have to understand that. I kind of get tired of hearing about Presidential Parkway every single day, but I can give you the numbers over there. We're making millions of dollars in tax revenue there. It's serving people there. It's not going to be the Presidential Parkway when Target was there. Get that out of your mind. You got to reimagine that. But right now you have a lot of covenants and restrictions on there that don't allow you to do the things that you need to do.
And of course, the Eisenhower corridor took a blow because Academy is moving to the north side. And the Eisenhower Business Improvement District was actually, thinking about expanding all the way up to I-75. So it would take from Middle Georgia State University all the way up if they could get the support for it. So what do you think is going to happen along there, closer to the interstate?
Again, people, I don't know why they even did a story on Academy leaving, right? I knew Academy was leaving in 2021. Academy was going to be part of the Costco deal with multiple other people that still may go out there, right? It's part of the whole plan. They were always leaving that area to go somewhere else. Even as I was coming in as mayor, they had to finish out their lease there. They were always leaving. Costco got delayed a little bit because of economics beyond everybody's control, and they moved over to Tom Hill, which is another good location for them. As long as they're making, who cares? That Academy will be something else. We've had a lot of people interested in that property. But if you look at from Westgate, it's almost full, right? It's not maybe what you want to do. It's not the dealers you may want or the Trader Joe's. You go up to that True Value right next to it, it's completely full. The Corky Bells area out there, we all remember the Corky Bells, it's completely full. Yes, it may not be what you want, but people are paying taxes there. They're doing stuff there. The place that you store all your stuff at, I'm not crazy about those places, but they pay taxes, right? They pay taxes and they help our citizens. It's not a blighted building. So it may not be what you want, but like I said, the Planet Fitness, the Lowe's was leaving, the Havities were leaving, they stayed because of development at the mall. So we got some great things going there. I won't let people sit back and talk about how things are disappearing. Just get out of your mind. It's not the old Mecca of the old days. Revisiting what's happening over in that area, and if things move to North Macon, so be it. Just drive over there, spend your money over there, and then enjoy your entertainment along that corridor.
What is going on with the lofts that are going to go across from the amphitheater to service Central Georgia Technical College and Middle Georgia State University? Any progress on that?
Yes, we're going through the process of pricing. UDA will be working with a private developer there. It's just a process. I mean, things happen. As you know, we're kind of in a national environment that's on a roller coaster. One day you got interest rates may go up, go down. One day the price of steel is up or down, depending on which country we're buying it from. So things have been a little bit of a challenge right now. There's an uncertainty, not for us, but for the market. So people are a little bit skittish. Nothing to do with Macon-Bibb County. It's just the environment that we have. So we see things getting better. We're prepared for that. We own the property, and a lot of those leases have expired. The flea market's about to be inspected and probably torn down. So we'll start prepping that area like we always do before we start these projects. Just like the East Main project is still on go. We're going to take the Secretary of State's building down probably in the next month. You'll start seeing a little bit more things happen there. Things are starting to really fall into place, but it takes a little bit of time. We just done it so quickly, people are getting spoiled.
And then once you have more people living there, that gets you more traffic, and that could get you more businesses in that corridor.
Oh, I can tell you the project we got coming at the mall at the Pennies in a couple of years, it's instant economic development.
Now, we know that there's a lot of revitalization going on in downtown Macon. It gets a lot of attention, but there are some commercially blighted areas around town. I know that you had a whole list of properties at one point. We've got boarded up windows on Vineville and Emory Highway, Houston Avenue. So what is the latest? What's the strategy in the blight fight going forward?
We're still moving forward the blight fight. The blight tax is going to be used a little bit more for commercial. At our meeting just a couple of, 2 meetings ago, we detailed about $10 million to spend over on Houston Avenue alone. You can see if you travel through there. Now, if you left there 20 years ago and you came back, you'd probably say, oh, it's not that great. But in the last several years, you've gradually seen some of these old commercial buildings go away. Some new things are popping up. We got a store there. We got First Choice Primary Care. We got Cliffview. We recently announced several houses that are being built over there. Things that's going to help Bruce out. It's going to continue to get better. So I would disagree that we have a lot of blight that's not getting addressed. Perhaps they're in the middle of a case, right? I saw something about the car wash. It reminds me about the car wash that someone did over on by the New Way and the Rocky Creek Foods there by Agnes Barden. We got 6 open cases on that. We got fines for an out-of-town owner. We're going through the nuisance process to tear that place down. Unfortunately, when you go over there and clean it up right before court, the case goes away. It gets dismissed. We have to start all over again. So it's good you want it dismissed. We've done that ourselves before too, and it hurt the case. And then recently somebody did it, which I'm glad they stepped up to do it. Kind of hurts the case a little bit, but we're going to continue fighting that. The blight tax will be used. We're continuing to work all across Macon-Bibb County. But you can't kick somebody while they're down either. You got a person who bought the property, who's trying to lease it out. They can't get a tenant, national tenant, because of things going on there. Interest rates haven't been the best, inflation hasn't been the best, and then you're going to sit there and knock them down too, and run them off or place some kind of vacancy charge on them. So you got to be compassionate and business-like too. But we've been able to bring a lot of those businesses, taking that downtown model we got and spreading out to other parts of our community. Emory Highway, you know, all those buildings over there, you think of what they're going to be worth when you have a VA medical center there, right? Those guys are smart. They're buying things up over there. Think about when we get that national park and we got East Macon Arena there. The whole East Macon with the TAD that we've got over there, Tax Allocation District, is going to be spent developing that area, more homes. We continue to do affordable housing in Pleasant Hill, moving on to Unionville area to get that corridor over to the mall. There's some great things happening. So we don't just designate our time downtown. It's not just North Macon like people think. North Macon handles itself, right? They're complaining about traffic because too many people come there, right? But retail wants to be around retail. We're going to continue to do the housing that we're doing. And people just have to be patient, just like these roads, right? We're going to pay 20 years of roads in 1 year. But there are some slight inconveniences to that. You know, you have some hiccups about road sizes of bridges, traffic delays, asphalt trucks, weather. It's not as simple, just for stroking a check.
So you're going to get us a Chick-fil-A over here by Channel 13, right?
You know, I can't say I haven't asked, you know,
I
but
know,
it's certainly
you mentioned it last.
that and coffee shops,
like,
I think is going to be a good thing there, and some housing there. So I'm excited about it. Things are going to happen, and I hope they happen while I'm here.
Sherry Edward adds that old Salvation Army thrift store over there on Mercer University Drive, what do you think that could ever be? You know, because it's been vacant for a while, and it's just a big building that's there.
It's had a couple of contracts on it, so I hate to say what it could be because it still may be that. I think that as we start developing some more things around the mall, it's going to be a more valuable piece of property. Sometimes we're a victim of our own success, right? We know things are going to happen at the mall. We've seen prices start to elevate a little bit over there, so the people that own those properties too, they've seen that, right? They know that they can get more money for it, so they're kind of holding out a little bit. Several years ago, they would just flip that to somebody else and had another business there, so we're a victim of our own success. But things are, like I said, things are going to continue to develop slowly but surely. If you see something leave again from Eisenhower Corridor to go to North Macon, don't be concerned. It was going to happen all along. It's par for the course. We knew it was going to happen. It's going to be replaced with something bigger and better.
Valerie Sams, she said her old neighborhood around Hillcrest, I think you eat at New Way over there.
That's right.
The houses are falling apart around Roy and West Green Streets and Hawkins Avenue. She challenges you to make Macon great again. I mean, what can be done in neighborhoods like that to kind of boost up the atmosphere?
Well, look what happened at Bills Hill. Look what's happened at Houston Avenue. Look what's going to happen over by Central with the collaboration we have of people. I think we're looking at building 100 houses over there in the next 3 years.
Napier Heights?
Napier Heights area there. I mean, got a great collaboration led by James Fritz over at Newtown Macon in partnership with Jacob Patton and many, many people, our historic society. I mean, things are working well together. That's going to expand over there. We're continuing to eliminate blight. I drive that neighborhood from Brookdale to downtown all the time, going through those neighborhoods. We're paving roads there. The crime is getting decreased in those areas, and some of those people are starting to do their own work on their houses, either tearing them down or rehabbing them. I wish we could do something with a nursing home over there. I think that would help that area out a lot. The old nursing home there, the Bell Arbor, certainly that's a good starting point over there. But I'd say make sure it's on our list, make sure it's on our blight list. When I came in, we had 2,400 houses that needed to be taken care of that were dilapidated, and for decades, we've gotten rid of about 800 of those. We continue to work that process, but now we're more about rebuilding. We're silently taking those houses down. We just don't show them every day for people to see them, but at the same time, we're doing 10 houses at a time. We've got some 64 residential developments right there at Pleasant Hill. You know, it doesn't happen overnight, but certainly I'm happy to hear from it. Miller at Macon-Bibb.us. If she got some specific houses she wants me to look at, feel free to reach out to me personally.
You mentioned it earlier in the program about taxes, but Barbara Gibson says she wants to talk about property taxes and such, and I know you've addressed this before on prior programs about the millage rate reduction, and people say, oh, well, the tax assessment went up and so I didn't really see anything. But Barbara says she doesn't understand why the seniors should pay school taxes, and she's heard of your plan to eliminate taxes at age 85, but she says most people die by then, so she favors no taxes at retirement age instead, and I know you had a progression.
Right, I think what she probably doesn't know is what it begins at age 65, and for most people, age 65, you get almost a 50% reduction. At age 75, it's completely gone. At 85, for some people who have expensive houses, you have to wait that long. So it depends on what type of house you live in, the price of that house. There's various bills at the state that are offering no taxes here and there. It's just going to shift taxes to somewhere else. You're not going to get out of paying taxes. Our plan is a real plan. It has a payment replacement source on there. I hope they pass it this year, starting at age 65. I've done the calculations. There are some neighborhoods at age 65 nobody pays taxes. Not just school taxes, county property taxes as well. And we have a revenue source to take care of that. I think our plan could probably lead the state if everybody adopted it, as opposed to some of the things I'm hearing out there now. But
So you don't think that no property tax thing is going anywhere?
well, if it goes somewhere, it's just going to go into another bucket. I mean, there's going to be an assessment that's placed on your house for services, and guess what that assessment is going to be? It's going to be the same amount as your property taxes, because that's what it costs us to operate the government. I understand at age 65 or 75, I don't have kids, right? I'm 57, just turned 57 yesterday. I have no kids in school, but I'm paying taxes, and I pay a pretty good bit of taxes where I live at. But I also recognize that I need a quality workforce. I need something that kids need to do and go to school, and it helps lift up the whole community. At some point in time, we really have to consider getting them off of there. I thought age 65, 75, 85 was a good tier program that we can afford to do without shifting the burden to business owners and younger people.
Well, you mentioned it, so the 13 WMAZ Newsroom wants to know, what was your wish when you blew out your candles for your birthday?
Well, I don't think they want to know that. Maybe local delegation may have something to say about that, but I just want peace and prosperity, not just for Macon-Bibb County, but the entire United States. Right now, it's tough to get up every day and watch the news. But really, I was thinking about when I blew that out, I don't need anything personally, right? I have everything I ever need with my family, my faith, my freedom. You know, people say that all the time. But really, I just think that we just really need to get back some good old love that we have for our community and our fellow man and woman, and do what's right for everybody. And I just hope that we can do that. We do it good in Macon, despite what people may believe. I just wish that would spread to places like Minneapolis and other places throughout the whole United States, so we really can be one big happy family despite our differences. And that's kind of what I blew out my candle and said yesterday, and I blew 2 out yesterday. So
I was going to say, I know you had 2 birthday cakes. Are you sure the other one wasn't for a 3rd term?
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I would say that I just want whatever's best for Macon. I want to happen, whether that's a 3rd term or no term. It's just, yeah, I'm all about team.
Well, we thank you, Mayor Miller, for spending your time with us today. Remember, please send your questions to mercerccj@gmail.com, and we'll get you some answers next month. Thanks for joining.